Time now in our program to take a look at local business and economic development news. I am joined, as I am most weeks, by Kevin Lawrence. He's the editor, owner, and publisher of Fall River Development News on Facebook. Kevin, how are you?
Very well. Glad to be here again.
All right, there's quite a bit going on. We haven't spoken in a couple of weeks, so there's some developments that we haven't touched upon. We like to talk a lot about housing, and there's going to be a new housing proposal with some apartments right there on South Main Street, downtown Fall River.
Yeah, right across from the courthouse, the historic Cherry and Webb building in the news because a developer is proposing 70 residential apartments for inside that complex. That is owned by Jobs for Fall River Inc., that building, and the Greater Fall River Development Corporation. It's been primarily used for office space over the last decade. Both of those entities put it up for sale back in November of 2024. They were asking $1,950,000 for the complex, and it is under agreement with Little Tiger Capital LLC, and they're proposing 70 residential apartments in downtown Fall River at that location, which would bring a lot of foot traffic, I'm sure, to that area, which is sorely needed.
I know a lot of people like to ask, I don't know if you know, do you know whether there'll be market rates, some affordable? Do you know what the makeup will be?
They haven't, they're supposed to go in front of the zoning board meeting at their June meeting. We'll find out, but I'm assuming it's going to be market rate.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to another part of downtown. Although I guess we talked about this before. I guess the new downtown around Bedford Street. We talked about a project that's going on. I believe it's the corner of Bedford and 7th.
Yep.
That there's going to be again more apartments and an adult day center. Yep. There's been some demolition of some of those buildings that are there to make room for this project.
The properties were once home to Canton's Clunkers Used Cars. That was on 295 Bedford Street, and Geronimo's Collision Center, which is located at 57th Street. Your viewers are seeing in the pictures that they've been demolished. Both of those buildings demolished to make way for a new 5-story mixed-use development on that site. The plans call for an 8,000 square foot adult daycare center on the ground level and 52 residential market-rate apartments for the remaining 4 floors. That property is owned by Cordero Properties. Anthony Cordero, of course, a prominent local businessman and a developer, and he's rehabbed a lot of properties in that Bedford Street, Pleasant Street area. The new downtown is what he likes to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, that'll bring some modern look there in that part of downtown as it extends, just east, I guess, of the old the fire station, the old police station up Bedford Street.
Yeah. Right near Primacare, right near the Primacare.
Yeah, right near Primacare. And not far across the street, not far from, I believe, the Salvation Army building is in that, that neck of the woods. So anyway, all right. Moving on to some restaurant news. A famous, iconic restaurant has received a new sign.
Yes.
And many people will recognize this new sign because it looks like the old sign.
Yeah, the Almax Diner on 101 President Avenue. That's the official address, although it faces Duval Street. They've got a brand new sign. The sign was made to look like the original. I know you're showing the viewers right now. It really does look like the original. The old sign sustained damage over the past several years, and the new signage was just installed earlier this week. It's not a neon sign like the other one, but it replicates the calligraphy of the Almax Diner logo, and it is backlit inside each individual letter, so I'm waiting to see what it looks like when the lights are finally turned on at night, because we haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see, and I'm sure it'll definitely light up that neighborhood in terms of the iconic Almax sign that's been there forever, as far as at least in our lifetimes, it's been there for that long. And finally, this week, another restaurant in the news. We talked about this restaurant in terms of moving around different places, and now it's headed for Rodman Street.
Yeah, another new restaurant coming to 1365 Rodman Street, which is the location of St. John's Athletic Club. The new establishment is going to be named Casa Bar and Grill. And we learned this due to the Fall River Licensing Board June meeting agenda. It's on the docket to be discussed. The same spot was also home to Olympio's restaurant inside the St. John's Club. That didn't last long. It was only open for a little over 2 months before it closed. And before that, it was the Azores family restaurant. The Azores family restaurant moved to Ocean Grove in Swansea. So kind of like musical chairs over at the St. John's Athletic Club as far as restaurants inside. Hopefully this one will be successful and stay put for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully this one will stick, as they say.
Yeah.
All right. You can check out Kevin's work on Facebook. Search for Fall River Development News. Please do him a favor and me a favor as well. Like his content and support and follow everything that Kevin does over there, because he really is many times ahead of the curve in terms of business and economic development news. All right, Kevin, we'll talk again next week. Take care.
Thank you, Keith.